There are rules when you're walking down the street. There are rules at school. But with music, there are no rules. You can combine to make fusions out of rock and hip-hop, jazz, blues, funk, R&B, whatever you like. So let's take it a stage further now at City Beat as we see what happens when you mix Kunqu opera with a violin concerto.
This is a classical violin solo. And this is typical Chinese Kunqu opera. Have you ever imagined the two could fuse together? Two young artists from China and Britain had exactly this vision. Chinese Kunqu prince Zhang Jun joined hands with British violinist Charlie Siem, presenting the audience a violin-accompanied version of Tang Xianzu's Sweet Dream in the Garden. If you're curious to see how it works, let's meet these two young artists and see what they think.
He's an inspiration to me, an incredible artist and musician, and it's a great honor to be able to play with him.
非常年轻，非常有朝气，有着这个时代的鲜明特征的一个古典音乐的一个非常出色的、优秀的小提琴家。
It's amazing. I think it goes very well with the violin. It has very similar qualities in terms of the vocal qualities of the singers, and this sort of purity of tone and the sort of inflections, the ornamentation. It's very similar to that of the violin, and I think there's a lot I could learn from listening to this kind of music in terms of the way I play myself.
我对古典音乐很熟悉，我经常听古典音乐的音乐会，所以这次跟 Charlie 的合作，我也还是很期待。
Though both artists are full of expectations, Kunqu opera and violin concertos are still quite different, and with a deep romantic story. Were there any difficulties in their cooperation?
我们只是从音乐的角度出发，我们来做一些跨界合作，要告诉他那个唱段的那一种表达的这个历史背景啊、文化背景啊，那个我觉得东西方之间差别是比较大的。我在之前的这个互动当中就碰到这样的困难，但是这次我觉得特别好。这次是我们有做一个跨界合作的简单的《游园惊梦》，就是把《游园惊梦》这个剧情也作为我们 crossover 的一部分。当然，直接的表达是我们的音乐上的一种表达。跟查理讲这些故事的时候，他也非常的激动。
This sort of whole story about the girl who goes in the garden and then she has this dream. About the man that she's not met before, and then the petal drops on her, and so then she suddenly wakes up, and all this kind of romantic, poetic imagery is very sort of moving to me.
那我想，这个莎士比亚的《罗密欧朱丽叶》也许是我们沟通当中很容易的一种途径。
Using the romance of the violin, Sweet Dream in the Garden became more dreamlike. Now it's time to enjoy this new style of performance at the Alfred Dunhill Shanghai home.
For the Kunqu style, how play in a slightly different way, and it's exciting. That's what makes you stay creative as an artist, if you have to challenge what you do normally.
查理的小提琴跟我的声音之间的互动，因为大家对《游园惊梦》所表达这一种关于生和死的梦幻的这一种情境，我想有着共同的理解。所以从爱情跟人性的角度来讲，我觉得其实跨界合作还是会有很多空间。
This isn't Zhang Jun's first time cooperating with overseas artists. In the past, he's collaborated with Italian opera singers in Marco Polo, Japanese kabuki actor Ichikawa, and Belgian pianist Jean-François Maljon.
"我一直是谭盾的艺术哲学的实践者，叫1+1=1。我倒是觉得一样和另外2加在一起等于一个 maybe 是个 new one。
Charlie has also collaborated with singers like Bryan Adams, Boy George, and classical orchestras.
I like to think whatever I do, I'm either on one side or the other of the river. So either I'm playing classical music, or if I'm playing with a rock star, I'm playing the violin in a rock and roll kind of way, or I'm playing jazz, rather than mixing and mashing things together.
It's still too soon to say how crossovers have affected traditional art forms like Kunqu opera and classical violin, but one thing is clear, they've definitely given us a new way of approaching the classics.